Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks so much for joining us here on KXAN Live. I'm Will DuPree, coming to you from the KXAN Live studio. We want to take a live look outside right now. If you've not gone out to lunch yet, it is a pretty beautiful day out there in Austin, but we are tracking some big changes coming in later this week, namely a huge drop in temperatures and the potential for wintry weather. Not to scare anybody out there just yet, we're going to give you an indication about what's ahead in the forecast and the latest update on that. And fortunately, we're joined here today with our meteorologist, Mark Peña. Mark, thank you so much for being here and answering some people's questions about what to expect this week.
Well, sure. This is going to be our first kind of real dose at some wintry weather since last February, right? The big winter storms that crippled the entire state. Now, while we are looking at the potential for some wintry precip that could cause maybe some ice on some roadways, we want to just make sure that we're emphasizing that this is not going to be compared even in the same ballpark as what happened in 2021. Now, we want to make sure, though, that we are staying weather aware because there is the potential for some ice on some of the elevated roadways, maybe some in the grassy areas. So this is what we want to kind of hopefully break down and maybe put your mind at ease. So this is going to be more of what we see when we see wintry weather here in Central Texas.
Yeah, and we will get into more of the comparisons about what happened last year versus this particular event that might be coming. So we'll get to that in just a moment, as I said. But first, Mark, let's talk about what we're going to be doing in the temperatures, because this is going to be a huge drop in the days ahead.
Yeah, well, that's a good point there, because while some of us might see wintry precip and some of us might not, we are all going to be seeing temperatures that are going to plummet. Tomorrow night, the cold front is about 24, 36 hours away right now, and you can see by the day-by-day planner, we're going to see highs today in the mid-70s, maybe even some upper 70s, near 80 degrees tomorrow. Now, emphasizing that because that's going to really warm up our ground, and you'll notice that by Thursday temperatures drop almost 40 50 degrees. Look at this forecast model snapshot that we have of Thursday morning, a good 12 hours after the cold front has come on through. Temperatures, these are air temperatures that are going to be at or slightly below freezing. So clouds are going to come in around this time as well and pretty much locking in that cold air throughout the day. Now, what gets a little bit tricky is going to be the potential for that wintry weather, right? Also, along with the cold temperatures, look at the forecast wind chills. So again, those winds going to be very similar to what we saw this past weekend. They're going to be gusting to about 30 and 40 miles an hour. And with that cold air, this is what we could be feeling like when we're stepping outside. So just one of those days where hopefully you can work from home, maybe ask ahead of time and schedule that so you don't have to get out on the roads, because no matter if they're icy or not, it's just going to be downright cold for us here on Thursday morning.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, this is amazing to see these wind chills because we've just had such a roller coaster these last few days.
Right, and it comes after the record warm December, right, where we stayed warm the entire time. But now we're finally getting a little bit more taste of winter. We've had a couple of cool downs in the past couple of weeks, and even last week's rare sleet event with temperatures that are above freezing. That is not going to be the case this time. Temperatures will be a lot more closer to freezing, which is why we do want to make sure that we are preparing for this, not in any sense where you have to raid the grocery stores or anything like that. This is going to be something where we see this type of wintry weather normally. What happened last year was just so far out of what we typically see, and it kept temperatures below freezing for a week. So on top of several winter storms that made the roads impassable, right? So we can't rule out any power outages. There's always that threat whenever there's ice in the forecast. But the good news is that our roads should be a lot more passable than they were last year, so our power crews can tend to them.
Let's take a look at some of these models that you all are looking at the moment. There's 4 different ones, anticipation of what we could see this later this week. So talk to us about this.
Yeah, so this is, again, a snapshot of 4 models that we're using. The 2 on top are our Euro model and our GFS models. Those are long-range models that paint with a broad brush, okay? So those take in data and they spit out these forecasts every 6 to 8 hours, right? And you'll notice that with the most recent Euro and GFS models, you can see some rain showers, which is in that green category, but also that pink, which is that wintry mix. So again, look at those 2 as a broad brush, right? These models showing, hey, there could be that chance for some wintry precip, right? The graph model and the NAM model, what you see on the bottom, those are called high resolution models. Those take in information a lot sooner and forecasts with more accuracy than the long-range model. So you'll see with those a bit more of that wintry precip, right? So this is beginning to zero in on some of the data that we're getting in now and showing, hey, yeah, during 12 o'clock on Thursday afternoon, we could be seeing some wintry mix showers around here, maybe even switching over to snow. A lot of it's going to depend on how cold we get initially and how those clouds lock in those temperatures.
whenever we talk about ice accumulation, what is expected to potentially fall? It may not be all that much.
Right, yeah, but keep in mind it does not take, and that's why we want to make sure that we're taking this, seriously, right? Because it does not take a lot of ice to cause some slippery roads, right? And especially on our elevated roads. And I think that's going to be where our main concern is going to be at with this event. The ice accumulation forecast here showing about a few hundredth of an inch to maybe about a tenth of an inch west of Austin. That could make for some slippery roads. But again, with the ground being so warm tomorrow ahead of this cold front, I don't think that a lot of it's going to accumulate on the ground or on our major roads, just those elevated roads. But of course, just stay weather aware no matter what, because that black ice, it is so hard to see. It's, we call it black ice because it's almost the same color as the ground or as the roadways. So it's very, very difficult to see and very, very difficult to forecast where to expect that.
Yeah, definitely giving that advice for people to just be aware of this, that it might be a possibility for the roads. Take it easy on Thursday. And of course, we're going to be looking at our models and our weather forecast and getting the most up-to-date pictures of these in the days ahead. So everybody should stay with us here at KXAN for that latest information. As we mentioned at the top there, Mark, anytime there's any kind of winter weather forecasted for us here in Central Texas, we think back to February of last year when it was just such an awful situation for so many people. But really break it down, because you all have looked and kind of did a side-by-side comparison of what we're expecting later this week versus last year.
Yeah, if you want to pull that graphic up, we can kind of show you what we're expecting, like you said, compared to what happened last year. So the time frame for this particular event, we're looking at about 24 to 36 hours where we could be seeing some wintry precip falling from the sky, as well as it refreezing overnight Thursday and into Friday. I'm thinking by Friday afternoon, we're going to for sure see temperatures go back above freezing. So anything that does refreeze overnight Thursday and into Friday should melt by the time we hit Friday. So again, a relatively smaller window compared to February 2021. You'll notice too that February 2021, that was one solid week of temperatures below freezing before anything even began to melt, right? So with tomorrow and Thursday, we're going to be watching that chance for some ice, and also for any precip to fall, whether it's rain or ice, to refreeze Thursday into Friday before melting Friday afternoon.
If anybody's just joining us, I'm Will DuPree in the KXAN Live studio here with meteorologist Mark Peña discussing about this big weather change we're expecting later this week. For anybody who's just joining us on the live stream, Mark, give us an update about what we can expect that cold front to arrive and what it will bring.
Right, so we're tracking the cold front to come through tomorrow evening, but we're really going to notice those temperatures Thursday morning when you're heading out the door. So again, if you can, maybe request to work from home, take the day off, just stay off the road. Nobody wants to be out when it's going to be in the 20s and 30s with wind chills in the teens. And then you throw in the fact that we're watching that potential for some wintry mixed showers. Wintry mixed showers includes anything from freezing rain, sleet, snow, and then just rain. There's a whole mixed bag that could be happening. Again, very difficult to forecast exactly where that sets up, but we know that the threat is going to be there throughout the day on Thursday as temperatures hover in the 30s for most of the day.
Just showing this graphic yet again to show how big of a drop that is. I mean, we have seen these roller coasters go up and down the last week or so. This is just kind of par for the course for December going into January.
Yeah, basically. And you'll notice too that this is going to be our most prolonged stretch of cooler than average weather. Typically, we've been seeing, warmer temperatures followed by a knocked, in those temperatures by, 20 degrees, 30 degrees, and it lasts for maybe a day or two before we see those temperatures rebound. You'll notice that through Monday, temperatures will be below our seasonal averages of the low 60s. So expect freezes Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, and even into Sunday before we begin to see those temperatures rebound. So again, that's why we want to make sure too that we're be on the lookout for that precipitation to refreeze Thursday night into Friday, and potentially Friday into Saturday, but I think most of it will be able to evaporate heading into Saturday morning. It's Friday morning where that threat is going to be there for no matter what precipitation you see, whether it's rain, snow, sleet, or ice, that has that potential to refreeze Thursday night back into Friday.
You and the rest of our weather team here at KXAN will be tracking everything. Give us an update about what the staffing looks like for you all and how you all will be looking at this.
Yeah, we're trying to make sure that we're not sounding any huge alarms, right?
Yeah.
So this is going to be, something that I would imagine that we can handle. This is typically what we see in our realm of wintry weather. Just a light coating of ice, maybe some school delays, Thursday morning. But I don't think it's going to be it is not going to be a prolonged event like we saw in February 2021. This is going to be more along the lines of something that we can handle here in Central Texas.
I did see someone on Facebook commenting about what this really warm weather has done preparing us for this, what effect that might have on just how everything might unfold.
The warm weather that we have now, it's huge, because what that is, it's warming our ground, and that's going to be huge whenever that precipitation begins to fall. So it's hopefully going to be warm enough where none of it accumulates, right? But where we have the threat for ice, it's going to be on those elevated bridges and overpasses, because the air temperatures will be below freezing, and the bridges, it'll get that cold air from all angles, right? It has the cold air coming from underneath, from above, side, all that good stuff. But when it's those ground level roads, they have the warm surface of the earth below it, keeping that surface, or it takes a lot longer for that surface to cool compared to an elevated road. So that's why we always, spout, be careful on the elevated roads whenever we have any kind of wintry weather in the forecast.
Always good advice. Meteorologist Mark Peña, thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate it, and we will be hearing from you a lot over the next few hours and days ahead.
Yes.
All right, everybody, if you would like to find out more information about what is expected for the weather later this week, you can find an updated weather blog that Mark authored. It has really good information about kind of an hour-by-hour look in the days ahead, plus that comparison about what it will mean about this particular storm versus the one back in February. Big difference, but he breaks it down really nicely over on KXAN.com, so I'll direct you there. Thank you all again for watching. Will DuPree once again in the KXAN live studio. We'll see you back here another time, everybody. Please stay safe and healthy out there. Take care.